Hey Pisces, welcome to your May forecast or whatever, however you want to call it, general reading. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. My name is Dre, and I'm actually excited to finally get to us. So yes, like there's something I'm forgetting. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my videos, for commenting, for everything. I always appreciate it. And I think you guys were the most viewed last month. I could be wrong. It's either you, Capricorn, or somebody else, but whatever. Yeah, so hope everybody's doing good. Astrologically, there's not that much happening for us right now. Neptune is in Pisces, but that's a slow-working energy that will be in Pisces for quite some time. So I didn't go back and look at the old video. Haven't had much time, but now that classes are over, I want to put more time into all of this and more time into giving readings or whatever. If you want a reading, email me. All my information is down in the description box, including how much I charge. I think I'm cheap as hell, to be honest. Let's see. So, what can I say? We do have this cardinal cross energy that has been ongoing for years, and it's something that affects Pisces in a way in which it's all about restructuring our means of getting money, essentially. And not only that, but like our worth, our confidence, because it's affecting 2nd, 5th, 8th, and 11th houses. Which in astrology, it's the 2nd and 8th house are all about, making money and, long-term investments and all that stuff. And then with the 5th and the 11th house is about our self-esteem and where we want to place ourselves in the world. Realizing that we have that power to sort of put ourselves where we need to be. I'm using the Golden Thread Tarot, and I'm not using any reversals this month, because I don't think this is a deck that needs to be reversed. So yeah. And so, yeah, because the Taurus new moon was in the 3rd house, and the Scorpio full moon was in the 9th house. So it's all about like getting real with like your modes of communication, where you need to, how to communicate in a way that is totally in line with your truth. And with the 3rd and the 9th house, they're kind of hard houses to talk about because they're aspects of ourselves that we're not immediately conscious of. And so it's a part of ourselves that's more like, where have we been to, at least when it comes to communicating, where have we been to, I don't want to say fake, but just not real enough. And what about, our goals needs to undergo a transformation? What about where we need to be, where we want to place ourselves in the world? What about all of that needs to change? And that starts with how we choose to take in that information. So with that new moon in Taurus, it's all about, only taking in what's necessary, only listening to what's necessary, to things that align with your own beliefs. Because I feel like there will be that process that's undergoing for all of us, in which we'll be able to be more in line with our true nature, our true desire. So at the bottom of the deck, we have the World. We have the Knight of Wands, Seven of Cups, Page of Pentacles, Seven of Swords, Ten of Swords, Temperance, Ace of Pentacles, King of Wands, Knight of Cups, this is us, and the Knight of Pentacles. What was a reading I did right before this? Aquarius also had 3 knights. I think it was Aquarius. And Sagittarius had a lot of knights too. Sagittarius had a lot of people. I'm going to pull one more card, and we have the Star. So this is all about, okay, Pisces, this is all about embracing change, not being afraid, being willing to recognize that our dreams and our desire and our goals and our ambitions, they can be brought into the world. They are feasible. It's something that can manifest, but you have to allow yourself to heal. You know, you can't progress in life if you're not growing. You can't progress through any tough situation if you're not taking the lessons and putting them into practical use. If you're just going through life and just either playing the victim or just ignoring all of your problems, or just ignoring, continue going through the motions and continuing to sort of, live a life that isn't, again, in line with your soul desire, you'll continue to find yourself be disappointed. And the Death card came up a lot in a lot of other readings. It's not here, but it's that same sort of feeling. Death comes before Temperance. So it's like, I feel like for some of you, you might have let something go, or for some of you, because there is a Ten of Swords here, there still is this process of you working out all of the pain, all of the hurt that, and again, this is general. I'll bring up whatever message, but just know that this can be love, career, family, just you spiritually, just in regular life. But yeah, so we have the Knight of Wands and we have Temperance. So these are both Sagittarius. So when it comes to, and the Sagittarian energy is all about expansion, all about wanting to go out and bring in new experiences to sort of, we grow through experience, we grow through our maturity, we grow through what we've seen, what we've done, what we've been. And again, with the world here, some of you really want to travel. I know I do. So, like, some of you just really want to just, if it's not traveling, it's at least expanding a section of your life, expanding a part of yourself that is something that you can really be intense about and have passion in. But you have to be willing to, because Temperance is a very patient card. So, and the Knight of Wands is incredibly enthusiastic. It's all about sort of the opposing sides of Sagittarius, where, it's important to go out and take a risk and have fun and do what you want. But at the same time, you will have setbacks. You will have things just kind of not go as you've planned, not go as you've wanted. But to trust that process, to understand that, things happen. The universe the universe runs on its own time. We're only here for that much time, not here at all. In the grand scheme of things, we're not on Earth that long at all. So we have to go by the laws of nature, essentially. So we have to be patient with whatever happens. It is more likely going to be interpersonal because this Knight is here. So if it's not you guys, it's somebody else coming in And there's probably somebody around you. Some of you might be dealing with the Sagittarius, or you might be dealing with a Leo, or you might be dealing with um, a Virgo or another Pisces, if I want to be specific. But essentially, it could be, there's a lot of, every energy is represented here. So it could be anybody. I feel like for some of you, especially if they're younger, um, at least with this part of the reading, it's somebody that you feel inspired by, somebody or some friend, somebody that you're willing to work with, somebody that's willing to work with you and help you, or maybe show you a different side of life, show you different things. And if not, go out and be social, go out and be friendly, because we're here to heal. We're here to, and I feel like Pisces knows this the best, maybe I just know that because I'm a Pisces sun and moon, but how we like to experience the highs and the lows of everything. You have to feel, well, I don't like to feel really shitty, but you have to feel shitty about a situation, like really feel it in order to understand that you can come back from that you can heal from that you have to experience it all. And, that's where the true healing comes from with, in my opinion, being able to recognize that, pain is temporary. It's there. It's totally real. And, we felt every side of it, but, we can come out of that as well. And you can put this anywhere, Pisces. Just don't confuse yourself. 7 of Cups over the Ace of Pentacles. You have an opportunity for you that you can actually put to practical use, put some practical effort in. But you really have to trust yourself again, because the 7 of Cups is easy. You might have, if some of you are dating, or if some of you have job offers, you might be just so overwhelmed, or you might be confused, or some of you are willingly confusing yourselves. You're intentionally making things probably more difficult than they need to be. But I feel like for a lot of you, you want to put all of your work and you want to put all of your effort and your time into manifesting something. With any 7, it's all about embracing, especially the 7 of Cups. I feel we have to embrace the confusion. We have to be willing to not be afraid to, just sort of dive deeper into that, because I feel like the deeper we dive into it, into questioning ourselves, well, do I really not have a choice? Is everything really that elusive? Is everything really that complicated or confusing? Or am I just doing this? Am I just making all this up? And, when we go through that phase of, making a decision, and especially if we're confused about it, we trip ourselves up into being confused about it. But it's all about working through it and stripping away because there is one option. The rest of it's just noise. And, we get lost in that noise. It's all about, there is an option here. There is a single solitary ace that is within these cups or whatever. And there isn't necessarily an ace there, but it's there is just one truth. There's one path. There's one option. So for some of you, if you're seeing a lot of people, there's probably somebody for you that's the more practical of the other choices. There's probably somebody that's a little bit more enthusiastic, somebody that's more on your side. If it's a job, there's a job that earns more, that makes more, that you'll make more at, and if it's a creative project, you might be spreading yourself too thin if you just narrow your options and to understand that you can't do everything, but you can at least put a lot of effort into each of your things one at a time. It's possible. And you guys, it's important for you guys to just be incredibly studious and to take this wholeheartedly. This King of Wands can be you guys. I see it as both. I see the court cards as our energy as well as external energy. And I read it as such. Not the pages, but, whatever. So for a lot of you, I feel like you guys are going to be very studious. And for some of you, there is a relationship with one other person where it's you're ready for the page to turn. You're ready for, you're ready for something new to happen. But this king is unmoving. This king cannot be swayed. And I feel like if you haven't been able to sway him by now, you won't. For some of you, this king wants to meet you halfway. Maybe there's this estrangement between you two. Maybe, you guys have been sort of apart from each other for a while. And either one of you wants to give it another shot. I'm seeing it most likely it's you. Because this king, again, the kings don't move. And so don't get in over your head, because you might be incredibly enthusiastic about it, but again, there might be some sort of confusion here as to whether or not it's practical. But I feel like if it's there, if that threat is there, to not be afraid to actually sort of make an attempt, or to at least try again. So I feel like any amount of effort is admirable. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But for some of you, it's all about wielding this deep power within you, understanding that you have this fire, this passion that burns within you that can be put into practical use, that can be of substance, that can be something that is long-lasting and beneficial. And if not that, I feel like for some of you, you might be acknowledged or rewarded or noticed by somebody that that sees what you're doing, that sees the effort that you're putting in, and they might want to help you through your journey, help you, because for some of you, I'm seeing like apprenticeship. Or I'm seeing like, not that there's any apprentices anymore, but somebody might want to take you under their wing, or somebody might want, especially in like, if you guys are in a creative field, if you work with a lot of people, where somebody sees the hard work you're putting in and they want to actually help you succeed more, and you're willing to do that as well. And for a lot of you, like if I'm putting my thing into this, I'm seeing it's like, well, I want to travel the world, so I'm going to put I'm going to work hard to get to that point. So for some of you, you have a huge goal, a huge destiny. And it doesn't even have to be that huge. Some of you you want to graduate, or you want to, buy a new car or something like that. And so it's just like, you're putting in that work, you're being studious, you're putting in the effort. The thing is, you can't slack off, and you can't allow yourself to just get confused and sidetracked by the Seven of Cups, or put in pieces of work. Any amount of work is good work, but, as long as it's consistent, because this page, the energy is consistent and it's studious. It's the student, it's the apprentice. And so going to the Seven of Swords and the Knight of Cups, excuse me, this is us, wholeheartedly. Use your emotions to your advantage, Pisces. Use your emotions in a way that other people aren't going to be able to victimize you in the process. Because people do that. People take advantage of us, or, it's not like we don't see it coming. Some of us, depending on how old you are, or how familiar you are with your energy. But it's like, I love the Seven of Swords because it's all about staying one step ahead of the game. Always staying, not letting others, keeping an eye open, not letting others take advantage or see an opening in our armor. And I feel like because the star, it's like a cocooning energy. And I'm seeing that here because we have the star in the world. It's an energy in which, because it's represented by Aquarius, traditionally. So it's like Aquarius's power, Aquarius's gift is being able to just be detached, and the best mode of that detachment is being able to be objective, to understand everybody's motivations and where you fit into that, and the bigger scheme of things, that this moment is only temporary, but there's a bigger plan and picture, and seeing that and understanding that. And that's what the Seven of Swords is. So I feel like for some of you, if you give yourself the chance to recognize that there is a huge part of your ego, there's a huge part of your self-esteem, there's a huge part of yourself, your identity, that is undergoing this transformation that needs to be healed. If you're understanding that, you don't want to actually, for some of you, it could have been like a past lover. It wouldn't be the wisest to immediately jump back into a serious relationship. You can date around. Um, and that's what this could be here. You're just trying to find somebody that is worth your time and worth the effort. And some of you might meet somebody that is. And this person, again, they might want to show you, you'll see a different side of, they'll open up a different side of yourself than you were familiar with. But for some of you, you do want to go back into love, or you do want to sort of go back into something creative or something that is really in touch with your inner dreamy self or whatever. But the caution is to just understand that, you've been hurt before and that pain is all too real and you're probably still kind of reeling from it, or you're still trying to deal with it. Because we do have 2 sevens here, so it's like we're separating the wheat from the chaff. We're separating what's necessary and what isn't, essentially. And again, to reiterate that Taurus new moon, getting back in touch with what's real, with what's practical, with what's true. A Taurus is, like, to me, the most unmovable sign. Because if essentially the energy is, if they don't see it, they don't believe it. If it can't be seen, it's not real. For the most part, I don't want to generalize Taurus, but that's what the energy essentially is. Not to get too hung up on all the overly complicated, overly confusing things that we attach things to as humans, because it's usually through conditions, through noise, that we just create these anxieties and we create these illusions to what's real, But it's all external. It's nothing that's internal. It's nothing that is actually moving in sync with our own inner ocean, with our own tempo. And that's what we have to do with the star. Get back in touch with that. Heal that part of ourselves. Because we're working towards something greater. And what that is something that is going to be a difficult process, and it has been, and it will continue to be, because with this Ten of Swords over the Knight of Pentacles, we need to, again, being aware of that pain, being aware of that hurt is what's the most important. We can't get too complacent. We can't get too especially if we find ourselves going back into sort of the same routine, falling for the same type of person. It won't serve us in the end, because it will only continue to lead to disappointment and heartbreak. And we want to guard ourselves from this. We don't want to go back to that. We don't want to, open up that wound again. And I feel like for some of you, especially if you're going back to somebody from your past, or if there are problems that haven't been tied up, if there are things that haven't been talked about, if there are feelings and issues that haven't been addressed, they will be addressed. And they need to be addressed, because you need to be able to deal with it. And I feel like, that process in itself will take a while. With some of you, it's probably with an earth sign, a Virgo or whatever. It could be Taurus. I've been talking about Taurus this whole reading. But at the end of the day, it's having to understand that the choices we make, even if we feel like they're difficult choices or if they're easy choices, either way, just things have consequences, whether they're good or bad, or sometimes they really are neutral, because that's how life works. It's always a catch-22. We might get something good handed to us, or we might start something good, but it's not like bullshit won't come after that, or it could be the opposite, where we get this huge disappointment and this huge sort of emotional shitstorm, but it's not like that storm won't pass and we'll get something better in the future. But we just have to be open about it. We have to allow ourselves to think that way. We have to be willing to lead with our heart and to not shut ourselves off, because the best gift of Pisces is the ability to just stay optimistic, just like Sagittarius, just like Leo, which are represented here, having that ability to understand that this isn't the end. It's not the end until we die. And so, and when we die, that's when we experience, you know, whatever you feel about death, how, if you feel like we go somewhere afterwards or what, that it's over. So why continue to either, shield yourself from the truth, shield yourself from what is real? Why continue to do that or evade from that, when our time is so precious on this earth? We only have limited time here. So getting hung up over old things, getting hung up over things that aren't serving you, people that don't serve you, it's worthless. It literally does not make sense. And it's important, if you haven't dealt with that pain, to dive in and to deal with it, all sides of it, then come back out refreshed and renewed. Okay, Pisces. So I will see you guys next month or later this month, whatever. I haven't decided what I'm going to do, but I will see you guys. So yeah, it's nice talking to you guys. Adios. Bye.